The Galactic Council's decision. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the Galactic Council had maintained peace for 3 millennia. Composed of representatives from 100 advanced civilizations, the Council prided itself on its wisdom and diplomatic prowess. Their gleaming capital world, Nexus Prime, was a testament to cooperation among species. But today, an emergency session had been called. The council chamber buzzed with nervous energy as delegates from across the galaxy filed in. At the center stood High Counselor Zixnera, her iridescent scales shimmering under the chamber's soft light. Esteemed colleagues, Zixnera's voice rang out, silencing the murmurs. We face an unprecedented threat. A new species has been discovered in the Orion Arm. They call themselves humans. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing images of Earth and its inhabitants. Many counselors gasped or recoiled at the sight of the bipedal creatures. These humans, Zixnera continued, her voice tight with concern, have achieved faster than light travel in mere centuries since discovering electricity. Their rate of technological advancement is alarming. Ambassador Krax of the Volari Confederation leaned forward, his tentacles twitching nervously. Surely they can be contained. We've dealt with emerging species before. Zixnera shook her head. Observe. The holograms shifted, displaying human history. Wars, scientific breakthroughs, and rapid adaptation to new challenges flashed by in quick succession. Their capacity for violence is matched only by their ingenuity, Zixnera explained. They've split the atom, walked on their moon, and developed artificial intelligence in less time than it takes most species to achieve powered flight. The chamber erupted in worried discussion. Ambassador Eloxy of the Quantum Collective raised a glowing appendage. What of diplomacy? We've maintained peace for 3,000 years, through cooperation and understanding. Zixnera's expression darkened. We sent an envoy. They were fascinated by us. Too fascinated. Their questions about our technology, our worlds, their hunger for knowledge is insatiable and dangerous. She paused, letting her words sink in. If left unchecked, humans will spread across the galaxy like a virus. They'll disrupt the balance we've worked so hard to achieve. They may even surpass us. Silence fell over the chamber as the gravity of the situation became clear. It was Krax who finally spoke. What do you propose, High Counselor? Zixnera straightened, her scales flashing with determination. We must do something we haven't done in 3 millennia. We must wage war. A preemptive strike to contain this threat before it's too late. Gasps and protests filled the air. War was nearly unthinkable to most of the council races. But as the holographic displays continued to show human advancement, a grim resolve settled over the assembly. We have no choice, Zixnera declared. For the good of the galaxy, for the preservation of our way of life, we must act now. All in favor. One by one, reluctantly at first, then with growing conviction, the council members raised their hands, tentacles, or appendages in agreement. The motion passed unanimously. As the session adjourned, Zixnera remained in the chamber, staring at the holographic image of Earth. I hope we're doing the right thing, she murmured to herself. But deep down, a flicker of doubt gnawed at her. Could they truly understand these humans? And more importantly, could they stop them? Little did the Galactic Council know, their decision would set in motion a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of their civilization and reveal the true potential of humanity. First, contact and escalation. Dr. Samantha Chen squinted at the readings on her monitor, confusion etched across her face. The deep space array she managed in the Atacama Desert was picking up anomalous signals, unlike anything she'd seen before. Hey, George, she called to her colleague. Come take a look at this. As they pored over the data, realization dawned. These weren't random cosmic noises. They were structured, repeating patterns. A message. Thousands of kilometers away, aboard the International Space Station, Commander Yuki Tanaka noticed something odd during her routine observations. A flicker of movement caught her eye. far beyond where any human spacecraft should be. "Houston, this is ISS," she radioed. I'm not sure what I'm seeing. Multiple objects approaching Earth at high velocity." Within hours, the world was on high alert. First contact was no longer a theoretical scenario. It was happening. As governments scrambled to respond, the objects entered Earth's orbit. They were sleek, almost organic in design, clearly products of technology far beyond human capabilities. A message was broadcast globally in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Council. Your rapid advancement has been deemed a threat to galactic stability. Surrender your most advanced technologies and submit to restrictions on further development, or face the consequences." The world reeled from the ultimatum. Emergency sessions of the UN Security Council were called. Military forces worldwide went on high alert, but even as diplomats argued over how to respond, reports came in of attacks on key research facilities and military installations. The Galactic Council had made its decision. Humanity's chance to comply peacefully had passed in mere hours. As chaos erupted across the globe, a small team gathered in a secure bunker beneath the Pentagon. General Isabella Martinez, her uniform crisp despite the crisis, addressed the assembled group of scientists, military strategists, and political advisors. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are at war with an enemy we know almost nothing about. But we have one advantage. They've underestimated us. They think we'll roll over and submit. We're going to prove them wrong." Dr. Chen, hastily flown in from Chile, spoke up. "The signals we intercepted, they're not just messages. They're data packets, massive amounts of information about the Council's technology, their species, their tactics. They're so advanced, they didn't bother encrypting it. They never thought we'd be able to understand it." A glimmer of hope appeared in the room. General Martinez nodded grimly. "Then that's our edge. Doctor, I need you and your team to decode everything you can. We need solutions, and we need them fast." As the meeting adjourned, Martinez pulled aside a young lieutenant. "Get me the president. It's time to activate the Lazarus Protocol." Across the planet, humanity began to rally. The initial shock of the attack gave way to a fierce determination. In labs and workshops, in military bases and civilian hackerspaces, humans did what they did best: innovate under pressure. In orbit, Commander Tanaka and her crew worked feverishly to fortify the ISS, transforming it into an impromptu observation post. "They're spreading out," she reported. "Smaller craft deploying to all continents, but their main fleet, it's holding position." On the ground, the first battles were being fought. Council forces, expecting an easy victory, found themselves facing unexpectedly fierce resistance. Human militaries, despite their technological inferiority, demonstrated a tenacity and adaptability that caught the aliens off guard. In a hidden facility in the Urals, a team led by Dr. Dmitry Volkov made a breakthrough. "It's their shielding technology," he explained excitedly over a secure line to the Pentagon. "It's incredibly advanced, but it has a weakness. A specific electromagnetic frequency can disrupt it. We can't replicate the tech, but we can punch holes in it." Similar breakthroughs were happening across the globe. In Nairobi, a team of engineers developed a way to detect the Council's cloaked ships. In Rio, biologists found a way to neutralize the aliens' paralyzing weapons. But these were small victories in a war that humanity was still losing. Cities burned, millions were displaced, and the Council's technological superiority was overwhelming. As the first week of the war came to a close, General Martinez stood before the UN General Assembly, her voice firm despite her exhaustion. "We will not surrender. We will not submit. Humanity has faced extinction before, and we've always survived. This time will be no different. We have a plan." In the Oval Office, the President of the United States took a deep breath and gave the order. "Activate Lazarus. God help us all." Across the world, in deep underground bunkers and hidden mountain facilities, long-dormant systems hummed to life. The Lazarus Protocol, a last resort plan developed in secret by a coalition of nations, was now humanity's best hope for survival. As alarms blared and engineers worked feverishly, a message was broadcast to all of humanity. Stand firm. Hope is coming. The war had only just begun, and humanity was about to reveal that it had some surprises of its own. Humanity's ingenious defense, as the Galactic Council's forces pressed their advantage, humanity's true strength began to shine through. Adaptability and innovative thinking under extreme pressure. The Lazarus Protocol, shrouded in secrecy for decades, was a global network of advanced defense systems and experimental technologies, waiting for a moment of existential threat. In a fortified bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Anaya Patel worked tirelessly with an international team of scientists. Their goal? To reverse engineer the alien technology from the data Dr. Chen's team had decoded. We don't need to match them blow for blow, Dr. Patel explained to the holographic assembly of world leaders. We just need to even the odds. The first breakthrough came in the form of a crude but effective shield disruptor. Based on Dr. Volkov's discovery, engineers around the world worked to modify existing radar systems. When the next wave of Council ships descended on major cities, they found their impenetrable shields flickering and failing. In low Earth orbit, the ISS had been transformed into the nerve center of humanity's space defense. Commander Tanaka, her crew expanded with hastily trained reinforcements, coordinated a daring plan. Using shuttles and experimental spacecraft, hidden in defunct space junk satellites, they launched guerrilla attacks on the Council's fleet. We're like mosquitoes to them, Tanaka said during a briefing. But even mosquitoes can drive you crazy if there are enough of them. On the ground, the tide began to turn in small but significant ways. In the plains of Kansas, farmers used their intimate knowledge of the land to ambush alien ground forces, using combines and tractors modified with scavenged alien tech. In the favelas of Rio, nimble drones piloted by expert gamers darted between buildings, gathering crucial intelligence and disrupting enemy communications. But the Council was far from defeated. Their superior numbers and technology still gave them a significant advantage. Humanity needed a game-changer. That game-changer came in the form of Operation Babel, the crown jewel of the Lazarus Protocol. In a secret facility beneath the Gobi Desert, Dr. Zhang Wei and his team put the finishing touches on a device that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The Council's greatest strength is their unity, Dr. Zhang explained to General Martinez and a select group of world leaders. They think as one, coordinate as one, but that's also their weakness. The device, a massive quantum entanglement array, was designed to do the impossible, tap into the Council's communication network. But instead of just eavesdropping, it could introduce subtle errors and contradictions, sowing confusion and discord among the alien forces. As Operation Babel went live, the effects were almost immediate. Council ships began to clash with one another. Coordinated attacks fell into disarray. For the first time since the war began, the aliens were on the back foot. But victory was far from assured. The Council, realizing the threat, began to adapt. They switched to more primitive, localized forms of communication, sacrificing efficiency for security. The war entered a new phase, a battle of attrition where human ingenuity was pitted against alien technology in numbers. In New Delhi, a young hacker named Ravi cracked the encryption on a downed alien fighter, giving human forces access to its navigation systems. In Lagos, Dr. Oluwase Adelaja developed a virus that could infect and repurpose the Council's autonomous drones. Each small victory added up, slowly tipping the scales. Yet the cost was immense. Cities lay in ruins, millions had perished, and Earth's environment was forever altered by the conflict. But humanity refused to break. In the war rooms and laboratories, on the battlefields, and in the makeshift hospitals, a new sense of unity emerged. Old rivalries and conflicts were set aside in the face of extinction. Humanity, in all its diversity, stood as one against the cosmic threat. As the war entered its third month, a new opportunity arose. The quantum entanglement array picked up transmissions suggesting discord within the Council itself. Some members were beginning to question the wisdom of the war, seeing the humans not as a threat, but as potential allies. General Martinez, her uniform battle-worn, but her spirit unbroken, addressed a global audience. "We have blood, we have lost, we have suffered, but we have not broken. We have shown the galaxy that humanity will not go quietly into the night. And now we have a chance not just to survive, but to change the very order of the cosmos." As she spoke, a daring plan was set in motion. A captured council ship, reverse-engineered and piloted by a brave volunteer team, was preparing to make the jump to Nexus Prime, the heart of Galactic Council territory. Their mission: to bring the war to the Council's doorstep and force a resolution. Dr. Chen, now a key figure in Earth's defense, watched as the ship prepared for launch. "We started this war as victims," she mused. "We might end it as leaders." As the ship disappeared into the depths of space, carrying humanity's hopes with it, the people of Earth held their breath. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and with it, the potential for a new chapter in galactic history. The universe was about to learn that humanity, when pushed to the brink, was capable of feats that defied imagination. The Galactic Council had started this war, but humanity was determined to end it on their own terms. The turning point: the captured council ship, christened Hope's Gambit by its human crew, emerged from hyperspace on the outskirts of the Nexus Prime system. Captain Elena Rodriguez, a veteran pilot chosen for her exceptional skills and unshakable nerves, surveyed the alien vista before her. "My God," she breathed, taking in the sight of the massive ring world that served as the Galactic Council's capital. "It's like something out of a dream." But there was no time for awe. Alarms blared as the ship was immediately hailed by Nexus Prime's defense forces. Dr. Yusuf Al-Rashid, the mission's chief xenolinguist, sprang into action. Using the knowledge gleaned from Operation Babel, he crafted a response that bought them precious minutes. "We come seeking parley," the message read in the Council's own language. "We bring truths that will shake the foundations of your unity." As the defense forces hesitated, torn between shooting down the intruders and curiosity about their bold claim, Hope's Gambit made its move. Captain Rodriguez executed a series of maneuvers that should have been impossible for a being with human reflexes, dodging defensive fire and weaving through the orbital infrastructure. Their target: the central spire, seat of the Council's power. Back on Earth, the war raged on. But something had changed. News of Hope's Gambit's mission had leaked, spreading like wildfire through both human and alien ranks. Among the Council forces, whispers of doubt began to grow louder. In the ruins of Sydney, a young resistance fighter named Zoe watched in awe as a Council soldier lowered its weapon. "Why?" she asked, her own gun still trained on the alien. The soldier, its translating device crackling, replied, "Because I want to understand. Why do you fight so hard? What makes you, you?" Similar scenes played out across the globe. The monolithic unity of the Council forces began to fracture as individual soldiers and commanders grappled with the reality of the humans they were fighting. On Nexus Prime, Hope's Gambit had achieved the impossible. Through a combination of audacious piloting, Dr. Al-Rashid's linguistic genius, and sheer human determination, they had landed at the base of the central spire. As Council security forces surrounded the ship, the human crew emerged with hands raised. "We come in peace," Captain Rodriguez announced, her voice steady despite the array of alien weapons pointed at her. "We seek an audience with the full Galactic Council." High Counselor Zixnera, alerted to the unprecedented breach of Nexus Prime's defenses, arrived at the scene. Her scales shimmered with a mix of fury and fascination. "You dare to invade our sacred capital. Give me one reason why I shouldn't order your immediate execution." Dr. Al-Rashid stepped forward, activating a holographic projector. Images of Earth flashed before the assembled aliens, scenes of destruction, yes, but also of resilience, cooperation, and startling technological leaps made in the heat of war. "We are not the threat you believe us to be," he said, his voice resonating with conviction. "We are a young species, yes, volatile, perhaps, but we are also capable of greatness beyond measure when united against a common threat." As the Council security forces wavered, unsure how to proceed, a commotion arose from the gathered crowd of alien onlookers. A group of Council scientists pushed their way forward, led by a being of swirling energy contained within a crystalline shell. "High Counselor," the being spoke, its voice a harmonious thrum. "I am Dr. Xivix of the Quantum Collective. We've been analyzing the data from the Earth conflict. These humans, they've achieved in months what takes most species centuries. Their rate of adaptation is unprecedented." Zixnera's eyes narrowed. "All the more reason to contain them, surely. Or all the more reason to learn from them," Xivix countered. "Think of what they could contribute to the galaxy if given the chance." As the debate raged, more Council members arrived, drawn by the commotion. The human crew of Hope's Gambit stood firm, a living testament to their species' resilience. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the war had taken an unexpected turn. In the aftermath of the Sydney encounter, more and more Council forces began to question their mission. The Babel Array, still working to sow discord, now found itself amplifying genuine doubts and ethical concerns among the alien ranks. General Martinez, coordinating the global defense from a mobile command center, received a startling report. "Ma'am," a young lieutenant said, her voice shaking with disbelief, "we're getting surrender signals from Council battalions in multiple theaters. They're asking to defect." The general leaned back, a mix of hope and wariness in her eyes. "Well, I'll be damned," she muttered. "Looks like our gambit might just pay off." In orbit, Commander Tanaka and her crew watched in awe as Council ships began to power down their weapons. "Houston," she radioed, her voice thick with emotion. I think we might be witnessing the end of the war." But the true decision would be made light years away on Nexus Prime. As the full Galactic Council assembled, the human crew of Hope's Gambit prepared to make their case not just for Earth's survival, but for humanity's place among the stars. Captain Rodriguez stepped forward, her posture straight and proud despite her exhaustion. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. "We come before you not as conquerors, not as supplicants, but as equals. We are humanity, and we have a proposition for you." As she spoke, laying out a vision of cooperation and mutual growth, of human ingenuity paired with Council wisdom, the atmosphere in the chamber began to shift. Skepticism gave way to curiosity, fear to cautious hope. Dr. Al-Rashid, monitoring the Council's communications through a discreet earpiece, whispered to Rodriguez, "They're listening, really listening. I think we might have a chance." High Counselor Zixnera, her earlier hostility tempered by the evidence before her, raised a hand for silence. "You have given us much to consider, humans. Your actions here today have demonstrated a courage and adaptability that, I must admit, we underestimated. We will deliberate on your proposal." As the Council members filed out to begin their discussions, the human crew of Hope's Gambit shared a moment of quiet triumph. They had come further than anyone could have imagined, but the fate of Earth and humanity's future in the galaxy still hung in the balance. Back on Earth, as news of the Nexus Prime mission spread, a wave of cautious optimism began to sweep across the battered planet. In the ruins of cities and in underground bunkers, in refugee camps and makeshift hospitals, humans dared to hope that the end of the war might be in sight. But even as peace seemed tantalizingly close, both humanity and the Galactic Council knew that the real work was just beginning. If the war ended, a new chapter would open, one that would require trust, understanding, and cooperation on a scale neither side had ever attempted before. As the galaxy held its breath, waiting for the Council's decision. One thing was clear: whatever the outcome, the universe would never be the same again. A new era for humanity and the galaxy. The Great Hall of Nexus Prime buzzed with an energy unlike anything in its 3,000-year history. After days of intense deliberation, the Galactic Council had reached a decision that would reshape the cosmos. High Counselor Zixnera stood at the center of the chamber, her scales shimmering with a mix of trepidation and excitement. Before her stood the crew of Hope's Gambit, representing humanity, and arrayed around them were the delegates of 100 alien civilizations. "We have witnessed something extraordinary," Zixnera began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast room. "In our haste to protect the galactic order, we nearly destroyed a species of remarkable potential. The humans have shown us that there is another way, a better way." She paused, letting the weight of the moment sink in. "Today, we do not merely end a war. We begin a new chapter in galactic history. Humanity will not be contained or subjugated. Instead, they will join us as full members of the Galactic Council." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien sounds, cheers, whistles, and vocalizations beyond human comprehension. Captain Rodriguez and her crew stood in stunned silence, the magnitude of the moment overwhelming them. Dr. Al-Rashid was the first to find his voice. "High Counselor," he said, his words carefully chosen, "we are honored by your decision, but our world lies in ruins, our people traumatized by war. How can we possibly take our place among you?" Zixnera's expression softened. "That, Dr. Al-Rashid, is where we begin to make amends. The full resources of the Galactic Council will be committed to Earth's restoration and the advancement of human civilization. But more than that, we have much to learn from each other." As the details of the peace accord were hashed out, news of the war's end spread across the galaxy. On Earth, scenes of jubilation erupted in every corner of the globe. Former enemies laid down their arms, and in many cases, began to work together to rebuild. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a transformation beyond anything in human history. Alien technology, carefully introduced and adapted, helped to clean the environment, restore devastated ecosystems, and push the boundaries of human science and medicine. But it wasn't a one-way exchange. Human creativity and adaptability proved to be valuable assets to the galactic community. Earth became a hub of innovation, where alien scientists and human researchers worked side by side to solve problems that had puzzled the galaxy for millennia. 1 year after the end of the war, a ceremony was held in the rebuilt United Nations headquarters in New York. Representatives from Earth and the Galactic Council gathered to officially inaugurate humanity's new role in the cosmic order. General Martinez, now serving as Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council, stood at the podium. "A year ago, we faced extinction," she said, her voice carrying to the assembled dignitaries and to billions watching across Earth and the galaxy. "Today, we stand on the threshold of a future brighter than we ever dared to imagine. We have learned that our greatest strength lies not in our technology or our weapons, but in our spirit, our capacity to adapt, to innovate, and to forge connections, even in the face of overwhelming odds." As she spoke, the first human-crewed starship built with Galactic Council technology prepared for launch from a newly constructed spaceport in the Sahara. Its mission: to explore the far reaches of the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as partners in a grand cosmic endeavor. Dr. Chen, watching the launch from Mission Control, couldn't help but smile. "From SETI signals to this," she mused, "we've come a long way." But even as humanity reached for the stars, they didn't forget the lessons of the war. The Lazarus Protocol, once a last line of defense, was reproposed. Its global network now served as the foundation for a new era of international cooperation and technological advancement. In schools across Earth, a new curriculum was introduced, combining human history with galactic knowledge. Children learn not just about their own planet's past, but about the vast tapestry of alien cultures and civilizations that now welcome them as equals. Yet challenges remained, Not every human was comfortable with the rapid changes, and not every alien species was convinced that humanity's inclusion in the Galactic Council was wise. Diplomats and peacekeepers from Earth found themselves mediating conflicts on distant worlds, bringing their unique perspective to age-old disputes. As Earth marked the 5th anniversary of the war's end, a new monument was unveiled in the heart of Geneva. It depicted a human hand and an alien appendage, reaching out to each other across a field of stars. At its base, an inscription read, "To the future we build together." High Counselor Zixnera, attending the ceremony, remarked to Captain Rodriguez, "You humans have a saying, don't you? The sky's the limit." Rodriguez smiled, gesturing to the stars twinkling in the evening sky. "Not anymore, High Counselor. Not anymore." As night fell on Earth, ships of 100 alien designs twinkled in orbit, a testament to the new era of cooperation. And in countless homes across the planet, humans looked up at the stars not with fear or wonder, but with a sense of belonging. They were no longer alone in the cosmos. They were part of something greater, a galactic community that was richer and stronger for their inclusion. The war that had nearly destroyed humanity had instead propelled them to heights beyond their wildest dreams. And as the first generation of humans born after the conflict grew up, they did so with the knowledge that the universe was not a place to be feared, but a vast frontier of possibility, waiting to be explored. The Galactic Council had indeed broken 3,000 years of peace to wage war on humans. But in doing so, they had ushered in a new age of unprecedented cooperation and advancement. Humanity had not just survived, they had thrived, proving that sometimes the greatest triumphs come from the darkest moments. And as human ships ventured ever further into the cosmic deep, they carried with them a message of resilience, of adaptability, and of the incredible potential that can be unlocked when diverse minds come together in pursuit of a common goal. The story of humanity's rise from near extinction to galactic partners would be told for millennia to come, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to be defined by its limitations and instead chose to reach for the stars.